A Lake Ozark bar is getting criticism tonight for a doormat that's been called racist. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Rake.
And I'm Amber Seib. That makeshift mat started as a stance against NFL anthem protests. KOMU8 James Packard joins us in the studio to explain how it turned into much more.
Amber and Jim, the owner of the Snafu bar near Bagnell Dam says he didn't intend to offend anyone with his doormat of NFL jerseys that originally read Lynch Kaepernick. Instead, his intent started in a very different place.
What would you like?
Jason Burley has been running this Lake Ozark bar for almost 2 years.
We're out tonight.
A project that gives a nod to his military roots.
This here's my father. Served from 69 to 73 in the United States Navy during Vietnam.
He, too, served in the military, and now his son.
6th generation military.
In this hallway of heroes around the corner from the bar, a reminder of what the Snafu bar is really about.
Mostly it's people that come in here, either customers or family of customers. We have some people's fathers, grandfathers, uncles, aunts.
But these pictures aren't the ones getting Snafu bar attention. It's this one.
It just kind of upset me really bad. It put a bad taste in my mouth.
Taylor Sloan saw this makeshift doormat outside the door of Snafu over the weekend, took a picture and posted it online, eventually getting into a heated argument with Burley on Facebook.
It just really upsets me when I see people, put kind of a faux patriotism guise on racism.
It's not a race thing. A lot of people want to twist it around to be a race thing. They were placed the way they came out of the box. I ordered them together. We pulled them out of the box, taped them down. There was no ill intent.
Nothing, he says, but distaste for kneeling during the national anthem.
A lot of us military folks take that personal to heart. I could line this whole sidewalk with NFL players that don't stand for the flag.
And a lot of the patrons of his bar would walk on them just the same.
I commend them for what they're doing as far as the right goes. I fought for that right. The same thing that gives them that right gives me the right to place these out here.
He insists the order was an accident, sending us this picture of the jerseys switched, hoping to switch the narrative so he can get back to what he started this bar for in the first place.
Patty.
And then...
Now, Sloan, the man who took the picture of the original doormat, says he respects veterans. His father was in Vietnam. He just thinks protests should stay well away from spreading hate. In the studio, James Packard, KOMU8 News.
The debate on players' protests is getting louder, from athletes to politicians. Many are weighing in. A Wisconsin Democrat dropped to one knee on the floor of the House in solidarity with NFL players. Former NFL player Anquan Boldin says what started as protests against racial inequality became an act of defiance against the president's words. But others agree with the president. A bar owner in South Carolina vows not to show NFL football games in his bar until all players stand for the anthem.
Former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore has won the special election in Alabama today. Moore faced off against Senator Luther Strange for the Republican primary to fill the U.S. Senate seat Jeff Sessions vacated when he became Attorney General. President Donald Trump backed Strange, while Moore had support from former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon. Moore will go head-to-head against Democratic candidate Doug Jones in November during the general election. Authorities are cautioning boaters at the Lake of the Ozarks to be safe when fueling their boats after one person was killed and another was seriously injured when a boat exploded this weekend. The Missouri Highway Patrol is currently investigating the explosion, which killed 76-year-old Ronald Moore from Nevada, Missouri. The explosion happened Sunday at Pier 31 Marina just after the boat was refueled.
This incident is still under investigation, but a lot of times when we have these fires and explosions at Lake of the Ozarks, they sometimes do have to do with a problem in the engine or a problem with the fuel.
Moore and one other passenger were flown to University Hospital with serious injuries. Moore died 8 hours later.
Another investigation continues how a woman drowned at the lake this weekend. Kayakers found the body of 50-year-old Amy Miller from Prairie Village, Kansas, in a cove at mile marker 26. The patrol says she was staying at a nearby resort. An anti-abortion group kicked off its 40-day-long demonstration tonight. KOMU8's Jessica Porter is here in the studio to explain their mission.
Just a few hours ago, demonstrators were outside Planned Parenthood hoping to, quote, pray away abortion. The demonstrators are a part of the group 40 Days for Life, a religious organization that is anti-abortion. The group will be there every day, all day, until November. It says life is where everything begins.
If we don't have life, we don't have you, we don't have that camera, we don't have me, we don't have anything. And so that's why it's so important, because everything else stems from it.
40 Days for Life says it is doing important work by offering women alternatives. The president for the National Organization of Women says groups like 40 Days for Life should not get in the way of a woman's right to choose. Reporting in the studio, Jessica Porter, KOMU 8 News.
The U.S. Senate will not be voting on a health care bill this week as expected. Senate Republican leaders announced today they don't have enough votes to pass it. Senator Lindsey Graham, who co-sponsored the bill, says Republicans are still going to work to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act.
Missouri Democrats unveiled a new policy today called Healthy Missouri and said its goal is building a health care system with more options and lower costs for state residents. The party laid out several priorities. They include lowering prescription drug costs, banning companies from giving gifts to doctors, and expanding contraceptive services. Missouri Democratic Party Chair Stephen Weber said if you're a working Missourian or older Missourian worried about your health care, the bold reforms in our Healthy Missouri plan will provide you with more options and lower costs. KOMU reached out to the Republican Party but has not received a response. To find all the other policies of Healthy Missouri, go to KOMU.com. Fall has officially begun and the weather seems to be following suit. Let's check in with Tim for a check of what we got in store.